Today I'm driving to Galway to see Ireland's Leaning Tower, the Round Tower of Kilmacduagh. Ireland once had around 120 round towers, with about 60 surviving. Of those 60, about 20 still almost stand intact. Most were built between the 9th and 12th centuries, standing tall beside monasteries as stone landmarks. Many think the raised doors were for defence, but historians say they mainly kept the interiors dry and valuables secure. The towers could give refuge in danger, but their main role was as bell towers. The Irish word Clogchuck literally means bell house. Okay, so folks, I have arrived here today at the Kilmacduagh Round Tower, a couple of kilometres outside the town of Gort in Galway, and it's an absolutely stunning day. The sun is splitting the stones. It's about 22 degrees Celsius. It's some setting. The local farmer has his cows out in the field, or his bulls, I think, and the weather's just splitting the stones. And when I turn the camera around, you're going to see some real west of Ireland scenes. So just a bit more on the landscape surrounding it. So you can see just behind the actual round tower itself, you can see the karst landscape of the Burren, which is a massive exposed limestone pavement, one of the biggest in the world, I think. And yeah, it's just some setting, some backdrop. You can see it over here, just to the back of the shot. But yeah, what a setting. As I said in the intro, this can be termed as Ireland's Leaning Tower of Pisa. So it is about two feet off perpendicular, and as you get closer, it has a definite lean. Now I don't think you can see it in this shot, but the lean is quite exaggerated when you're coming from the roadside. So I'm just going to walk down here behind it and see if it's as obvious. So there you have, the sun is just peeking through. But yeah, so look, you can see here this massive giant piece of Irish history, and I'm not sure if you can see the lean here, but in my eyes it's certainly peeking out here towards the sun. And actually this is probably the most exaggerated lean from any angle I've seen. And yeah, it definitely does live up to its name as Ireland's Leaning Tower of Pisa. So here's another shot just from behind it, and there is a serious lean there. Just as I walking through the graveyard here, so it's not just a round tower, although that is the main attraction here, I suppose. This is a monastic settlement. So there's a cathedral. Now it's the ruins of a cathedral, but there's a cathedral, there's a graveyard all around me just here. You can see that here. You can see the cathedral over there, and you've many older ruins of other monastic settlements. So you have the ruins of an abbey, and these would have all been built up over a couple of hundred years between kind of I think it was the 10th century or so, and I'll correct that in the notes there, but I think it was the 10th century onwards that this site started being built. And from then on, you have a couple of hundred years where a new piece was built. But even to this day, as I'm walking around it here, you can see graves and recent graves. So people are still being buried here. And inside the walls of the ruins, you obviously have people of important stature in Irish history, or even the history of Gort and the surrounding areas, that would be buried inside them, I would imagine. But yeah, you see some unbelievable scenes here. Kilmacduagh is home to Ireland's tallest round tower, rising over 34 metres high. What makes it famous is its lean, more than half a metre off vertical, earning its nickname Ireland's Leaning Tower. Built around the 11th century, it stands beside the remains of an extensive early monastic settlement. The graveyard is filled with centuries of burials. Many locals from the surrounding countryside but also markers showing how this was once a place of pilgrimage. At its heart is the ruin of the cathedral of Saint Colman, who founded the monastery here in the 7th century. The cathedral was expanded in later centuries and served as the seat of the bishop. Around it are smaller churches and chapels that once formed a complete medieval monastic city. Together, the tower, cathedral and the graveyard tell the story of Kilmacduagh as both a spiritual centre and a striking example of Ireland's medieval heritage. So they reckon that Saint Colman Macduagh, he himself, he moved away, he lived a life of isolation until this area here, this monastic settlement, became an area of worship and learning for scholars and monks, and it was under constant bombardment from Viking raids and stuff. So if you're enjoying this video so far, please hit a like below and subscribe to the channel. Give me an awful boost, know that I'm doing something right, and it would help me grow the channel and give me more confidence to get out and start talking to the camera like this and making videos, improve my skills. So hit the subscribe button down there somewhere, and yeah, I'll make more videos and visit more cool places in Ireland and abroad. I have more trips lined up and steady flow of videos coming, long form. So yeah, hit the subscribe and give the video a like. Comment as well, because I don't have that many followers or subscribers, so it's not going to be that hard for me to comment back. Cheers. Saint Colman Macduagh. Why did he choose this location? So we're talking about 10, 11, 12th century Ireland, heavily influenced by Christianity. He was dedicating his life to the spread of Christianity in Ireland, and local legends say that he just happened to drop his belt in this location and that to him was a sign from God. Oh, whether you believe that seems a bit far-fetched, but look, it's not a bad yarn to go with, is it? Another question is, why is it leaning? Like, that's all these round towers, like I was looking up, they have very, very short foundations, or shallow foundations. Like, so I suppose it's no coincidence that it's leaning. And it was the lean was supposed to have happened quite early on. The ground here would have been marshy, so look, I suppose that has to be the reason that's given. I read somewhere online, but I think that it doesn't make sense to me that it was built purposely with the lean and that it was from the start it was that way, but I'm not sure if I buy into that. It's fascinating to me, like, you have these round towers dotted all over Ireland. Like, I think there's about 100 partially built and there's about 30 or 40 fully complete. But like, I would have lived in Galway for a while and I never would have even, I think I visited here once, but like, I never looked into the significance of the story or the history behind it. And I just think, like, probably most of us Irish people, we tend to go around quite absent-minded when we see these around, but they're fantastic pieces of history. Like, there's no ticket booth, it's completely free to see. There's a car park up at the edge. Yeah, it's just, there's loads to see. Like, you don't even have to be a big historian to enjoy these as well. Like, they're just, when you think about, these are hundreds of years old and they were able to build towers in shallow foundations. It's absolutely unbelievable.